If you are new to web design or just haven't used CSS for building layouts, or if merely you want a head start for the layout of your new files, Dreamweaver offers you CSS starter pages to work from. Dreamweaver starter pages offer over 30 standards-compliant, cross-browser compatible layouts to choose from. These layouts render consistently in Internet Explorer for Windows, versions 5.5, 6.0, and 7, Firefox for the Mac and Windows, versions 1, 1.5, and 2.0, Opera 8 and 9 for both Mac and Windows, and Safari 2.0. So if I go to my New Document dialog box, and I can get there by going to File and choosing New, if I choose to create an HTML page, here in the third column, I have all of those CSS starter pages that we're talking about. Notice that they're listed in 1 column, 2 column, and 3 column flavors. We have fixed, elastic, hybrid, liquid, and absolutely positioned layouts. Notice that they can also include a left sidebar, a header, and a footer, or just a sidebar. So you really get a lot of choices here. I'm going to go ahead and choose one of these. Let's say we want a 2-column fixed right sidebar, header, and footer. So if I go ahead and select that, you can see that I see a preview of it over here. And that icon indicates whether it's a fixed or an elastic or a hybrid type layout. Now, elastic layouts are going to stretch as the browser's resized, whereas a fixed one is going to fit into a specific size. So after I've chosen one, I can go ahead and select a document type declaration if I'd like to change it from my site's default. But I'm more interested right now in figuring out what to do with this CSS that's going to be generated. I can either add it to the head of the document, which would embed it in this file only. I could create a new external style sheet file that would in turn link to this one and be available for any other file that I wanted to use. Or if I already had an existing style sheet that's going to use this page structure, I could just choose to link to that one and it wouldn't create any new styles for me. I'm going to add this one to the head of my existing document and just go ahead and choose Create. I'm going to minimize my panels to icons so you can see the page a little bit better. But as you can see, placeholder information and neutral background colors are clearly marking content areas. They're simple enough to easily replace with your own content. So you could simply highlight this and type in something like my header. And if I wanted to change the colors or place images or background graphics in the file, it would be pretty easy for me to do. I'm going to switch over to Code View because I want to point out how the CSS is created. Since we embedded this in this page, it's found up in the head of our document. And you can see there is a lot of it. One of the things that I really like about these starter pages is that all their CSS is very clearly commented. Let me scroll up to the very top of it. So you can see that everything that's going on in here is clearly defined, and these comments are telling you why. So for example, the body tag has a margin of 0, and it's telling you it's a good practice to zero the margin and padding of the body element to account for differing browser defaults. So if you're learning cascading style sheets specifically for layout, this is a great thing to do. You can come in here, read through this, and understand why certain actions are being taken, and then adopt those practices in your own style sheets. So that's really, really cool. Deciding whether or not to use starter pages in a site will be based on numerous factors. If you've never used CSS for layout before and want to make sure you're using standards compliant, cross-browser solid CSS, they're a great place to start. If you already have a strategy for using CSS in place, and one of the starter pages fits your layout requirements, it can save you a lot of time in the creation of your CSS. And keep in mind that the CSS and page structure generated from starter pages is entirely customizable. You can add to, take away, and tweak the code in whatever manner you want. Just make sure to approach using starter pages with a clear strategy so that the overall implementation of them into your site is seamless.